I asked you this as Jalen Hurts won the job. Don't you guys want to do this? Don't you want to be sure that he's the guy? Don't you want to be 1,000% sure he's the guy? Big Tilt National Football Show. Appreciate you coming aboard for hour number 3. Thank you so much again for coming in here. And I thank you very much for always coming aboard here with us. As I said to you in hour number 1, without you guys, the show is not growing anywhere. Really a fast 2 hours here. And we're going to get into the standings right now in the NFL, where the Eagles sit. Also going to do the top 10 teams in the National Football League. And we're going to get your opinions on some of the things we said. By the way, just again to reset on how we opened up the program here. Look, DeMarcus Lawrence said today that Jalen Hurts is not an elite quarterback. Okay? I think he's right. And I know he's right. But he's looking at him through the lens of Dak on what he sees and also what he sees around the league when he plays people like Brady. He's not taking into account, which most don't, that Jalen Hurts is maybe the most unique quarterback in the NFL. Nick goes, Twitter's calling you a clown, Sills. Great. Thanks for the response. You can leave a cracker if you want. Really? What do you want me to do? I can't help that kid doesn't have more of a backbone. He's Micah Parsons. He should act like it. Okay? Dude, if I'm Micah Parsons and some asshat like me said something to him and he didn't like it, by the way, I didn't really say anything to him. And I don't give a shit how you guys – well, see, someone up here said, was that you, JM? Stop tagging players. Why? If I'm going to say something, I want someone to know that I'm talking about them. Why would I talk behind their back? You want me to talk behind someone's back? That's why I tag people. If I'm going to be critical of you, I'm going to let you know it. I'm not going to talk behind your back. That's the closest thing I could get to talking to your face, because I would. I don't talk behind people's back. And if you don't like it, there's a beach somewhere in America, and I'll meet you there. JM, no. I will tag people constantly because I'm not like the cowardly egg that most of you are on Twitter. If I say something, you know I said it about you. You don't have to hear it about me. Talking behind people's back, which most people like to do anyway. Hey, always remember this, Greasy. It's funny. Every time Big Sil says something, Xander's like this. Dude, you know what, too? You know, hey, you don't want to know something? So Michael Parsons didn't like, my aunt's watching right now. She'll like this. Hey, JM, let me show you something else on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show. My daughter was the player of the match against Arizona State this past Saturday. You know who congratulated her on Twitter? Mark Cuban. Am I supposed to not tag him? I don't want to see the woke mob take your job. Okay? You're the first person that's ever said that. Thank you. They've taken a few. It's true. They have. You're right, JM. I won't lie there. They have taken a few. Mark Cuban congratulated my daughter for being the player of the game in a rugby match against the Sun Devils. I posted it on my Twitter page. He told me to tag him when she does something great like that. Because get this. Want to hear something crazy? Mark Cuban has donated to Danielle to go to Grand Canyon University. He likes her that much. That's how I got him on my show. It wasn't for me. He played rugby at Indiana. And the only reason Mark Cuban came on my show was because my daughter plays rugby. That is an absolute fact. That's an absolute fact. Okay? Hey, Betty, how are you? Well, wait, look at you. Come on, boy. What's she mad at? Okay. Hey, man, you got it, man. I went to the U. Thank you very much. Dude's whining because he got ran over by the Eagles. That's why he's moaning. Okay? So, really cool. All right. Hey, but like I said in the first hour, guys, Jalen Hurts has become a unique football player. Listen, he's won 11 to 12. The team is 15-4 since the 2-5 start. I don't know. You went from a 4-win team to a 15-4 team in the last almost 20 games. That's pretty damn good. You would be hard pressed to find other teams with that kind of number and wins. Very good. And we asked this question. Okay. I asked you this as Jalen Hurts won the job. Don't you guys want to do this? Don't you want to be sure that he's the guy? Don't you want to be 1,000% sure he's the guy? And you don't want to have a Wentz contract hit you in the eye. What you have here, if you're Howie, is the leverage. You have the leverage. However, the more they win, the more success they have, Eagles, the price tag goes up. Would we agree that the price tag for Jalen Hurts has gone up since week 1? We would all agree to that, correct? Right? You're already sure, Danny? Yeah? 46.1. Do you want to be in a position like the Arizona Cardinals are in? Tell you what, man, it's a pretty tough place to be. So what money do you give Hurts? Sills got the Just for Men in the beard. Dude, do I look like a guy that colors my hair? I don't think so. Big Sills don't color anything. Okay? Big Sills doesn't do that. Here's listen, you want to get Jalen on a good deal? I give him $120 million guaranteed over 3 years. Would you take it? Would you take 120 guaranteed 3 years? You can't go beyond 3 with that style of play. Grandma got ran over by a reindeer. I mean, a ravioli. Thank you. They will want 5 years. You're not getting 5 years. No way. But here's what I would do then, Xander. Okay, you want 5 years? Here's 120 guaranteed over 5 years. No, you have a 5-year contract, but I'm going to give you $120 million of the guarantees. So basically half the contract is guaranteed. You go from a full contract guarantee to half of it. I still get you for the 3 years things blow up. Because all I'm on the hook for is the guarantees. That's where the team has the leverage on you. They can cut you at any time and bail out of that. The new collective bargaining agreement has a clause in there now that's team-friendly for this. Say they get caught with those Carson Wentz deals today. Do you know what the teams are allowed to do now? Defer the money out on the cap. And they can read it. They can defer Hurts' money against the dead cap, so it's not that critical of a hit against the salary cap anymore. It helps the NFL teams keep their guys more and sustain bad moves. Darker says, if there is a player who will continue to develop, it's him. His hard work ethic is insane. Brady S. Darker. Carson Wentz may have had a higher ceiling, but his attitude would never let him reach it. Hurts is getting better and better and better, and I thank you so much. That's really cool of you. Thank you. Darker, 10. Amen. 4 years, 160, 100 guaranteed. See, to me, you know how you can get away with it publicly? 3 years, 120 guaranteed. Okay? That's almost a better deal than Kyler Murray got. Yeah, he's making. See, the contract is the Cleveland contract you want. You want to get closer to the guaranteed cash, like the NBA guys have. NBA guys, when they get $250 million and they've signed those Supermax deals, dude, you have generational wealth. You know the old deals that the NFL guys used to sign? Now watch this. Patrick Mahomes signed a contract, that 10-year contract. That thing almost looks outdated now. He didn't get the huge money he could have got. See, to me, I think the key is taking short-term deals. Look at Jalen Hurts, 25 years old. Get this. And Xander says they'd want a 5-year deal. Why? The market continues to go up. Why would I want to set the price of my own player to a point where, get this, my salary's undervalued? Xander's playing in the now, which everyone does. But this is what I'm looking at. You sign a 3-year deal, the market's not going to move as much as on you as it would for a 5 or 10-year or 7-year deal. You could, those $30 million deals that Goff and Wentz signed are under market value already. That's how you have to look at this. The guaranteed money and the lesser time on the deals are it. Boy, how would you like to be a guy who can negotiate his contract every 2 years? And you're somebody, say, like Joe Burrow. You're never going to let Joe Burrow renegotiate his contract every 2 years. I would go like this. Hey, you want to go on 1-year deals? I'm good. All guaranteed up front, $50 million. Next year, it's $60 million. Year after that, it's $70 million. If you're someone like Mahomes and Lee Steinberg are under market value now. Now, there are escalators in those contracts with Mahomes, but the Chiefs have all types of off-ramps that they can get out of that contract at any time. And the guaranteed money they gave him, hey, watch this. They've already won a Super Bowl. Numerous AFC championship games they've hosted at Arrowhead, they've already got their value for Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has already lived up to his contract. He's not going to live up to his contract in year 8 and 9. If Patrick Mahomes got hurt catastrophically this coming Sunday, it would have been worth the investment. You deliver a Super Bowl for the first time in 50 years in Kansas City. You went to numerous conference championship games. He's already lived up to that thing as far as I'm concerned. There's guys that have signed for more money, bigger contracts, have not lived up to this. Now, not bigger contracts because it was the biggest at the time. But to me, man, I want 3-year deals. Xander's thinking 5. I get it. Organization. Xander, I don't think Hurts would want 5. I think the organization would want 5. I think they would want 5. I'm not clutches. Hey, if I'm Clutch, don't you want to renegotiate the market value knowing that this cap is exponentially moving up the way it is? Don't you want to be involved in the growth of the league? How could you be in, when you sign one of these NFL contracts and you're a quarterback today, you're signing like an annuity. You're signing an annuity at a particular interest rate, and it stays there unless you sign a certain or you buy a certain stock that it escalates with the interest rate. Now, it's more of a gamble. But the NFL is a pretty good gamble, and the value of the league has gone up every year for the last 50 years. You know the league's not going to lose money. which means the cap is going up, unless something catastrophically, again, like COVID-19. That was something that was out of this world that dropped the cap. No other thing is going to drop the cap. I want a 3-year contract. All of it guaranteed. If I'm clutch, show me where your number is. It doesn't have to be $50 million. But if you guarantee $42 million or 40, and you give me 120 guaranteed, 3-year contract, that makes me only 28. Win my negotiations. And if he's playing Super Bowl ball, as he enters his 3rd year, you can add an extension to it or move off from it. Either way, it's conducive for both parties to put the guaranteed money on the table for him. If I'm the Eagles, I would buy that all night. I would maybe want 5 years because I could put in there then I don't have to guarantee the whole contract. Those last 2 years, you see, get me here on this. If you sign a 5-year contract and give him $120 million guaranteed of that money, that's half the contract. They own your ass for the They own your ass for 2 extra years plus the franchise tags. They could keep you in the building whether you liked it or not at a set price for 2, 4 years. They could keep you that way. You would be giving them the leverage. Why? Why? Mahomes gets $40 million a year. You're now making less than Dak, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, and Aaron Rodgers. And when he signed it, it was the richest contract in NFL history. That was just 2 years ago. You want to get into a 5-year contract where the team owes my ass and the value of the market will continue to grow, and then I start losing my place in the top 5 when it comes to highest paid quarterbacks? It's a different world now. If I'm a kid, the key is to me continuing to sign these contracts like Darrelle Revis did. Darrelle Revis was a master at hijacking NFL teams, Jets, Patriots, Bucks. This guy he played, he was great. He's a Hall of Fame guy. Hurts hasn't won a playoff game. Okay? We're getting there. So if he wins a playoff game, you give him 46? And if he doesn't, you don't. Boy, that's one metric, man, you really weigh into, okay? Like I told you, they're going to hold that against him if he doesn't win. Say he goes 0-2. Negotiations, and he hasn't won a playoff game yet. Why? Baltimore holds that against Lamar Jackson, that his playoff record's not that great. I saw somebody say something about Sean Payton being a high candidate. Guy's got 9-7 as a postseason NFL coach. Really? He's on Fox, folks. Don't let that skew your view of Sean Payton. Sean Payton had one thing in common with Bill Belichick. You had a Hall of Fame quarterback in Drew Brees. And you're 9-7 in the postseason. I don't know. Really? You're sure Sean Payton's a great NFL head coach? See, smart, his agent put him on TV, year off. Look at Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer's going to pick his college job. That scumbag. He's going to pick his college job on where he's going to coach again. This guy should never be allowed to go into a family's home ever again with the amount of lies he's told. Should never. But he's going to get a huge job. He's going to pick one of these huge jobs are going to come open in the SEC somewhere, and he's going to be in the SEC again. You watch. He's not going to take a Big Ten job. What job in the Big Ten would he want? And Michigan would never hire him. Penn State, they're winning now, kind of. They got drugged by Michigan. Manster, thank you. You guys are fun to talk to, man. Yeah, all of you. There's no market. This is interesting here, Brandon. He's right. Brandon is using the Dak Prescott model here. Watch this. I'm going to fill in Watch this, Brandon. I'm going to use Dak Prescott's name instead of Jalen Hurts' name in your take. You see everybody down here? There's no market for Dak outside of the Cowboys. Dak needs the Cowboys offensive line and the Cowboys wide receivers to be good. He's not getting $40 million. What's the difference? Everything I just said were the things we were saying 4 years ago about Dak. There's no market outside. There's no market for Dak Prescott outside the Eagles or the Cowboys. Dak Prescott needs the Eagles or Cowboys offensive line, the Cowboys receivers to be good. He's not getting $40 million. He ended up getting 42. Okay? 85, I'll say one more time about Deshaun Jackson. He signs with the Ravens. He's stealing money. And you can quote me on that. He's not looking to get hit. His last two stops, you saw it. He didn't want to get hit. And that's why I personally think that the Eagles passed on him in signing him. He tried to create a market for him. He's looking to rob people now. He's looking to rob an NFL team. Get us a little bit of money and not get a hit. Get it some guarantees and just run through the tape and then go home. Okay? Deshaun Jackson doesn't want to get hit. He'll be no impact for the Ravens. He didn't want to get hit with the Raiders, and he didn't want to get hit with the Rams anymore. This guy's stealing money. This is totally what he's doing. All right. I want to give you my top 10 NFL teams. Big Sills, top 10 NFL teams. Then we're going to look at the standings and where the Eagles fit into the landscape of the NFL. And I'm going to show you where they are. I said the comment early to you in the second hour that I think they have the most complete offense in the league. I didn't say the most explosive. And I'll explain, okay? Hurts is not a passer. Dak is. Okay? It's facts. But like I said, Brandon, Hurts is a unique ball player. He's a unique ball player. Here are my top 10 Big Sills NFL football teams. Number 10, the San Francisco 49ers. Too much talent on that team. I know they were beat this past weekend. Deebo Samuel's one of my favorite wide receivers in the sport. Garoppolo, I'm a fan of, as you know. They're getting healthier. There's 4 starters out. I think when intact, this football team is going to be still a force at the end of the year when it comes to the NFC conversation. Number 9, Dallas Cowboys. I have the Cowboys here because of their defense. And I personally think that when Dak comes back, they're going to have a better chance. By the way, the next couple games for the Cowboys, I want to do this here for you. I want to show you something. Okay, I want to show you something here on the Cowboys schedule here. And when they get Dak Prescott back, Dallas Cowboys 2022 schedule. I want to show you this. Here's the next couple games. They got the Lions. They're going to win that game. That's 5 wins. They're going to beat the Bears. That's 6. Then they're going to head into the bye, and they're going to be 6-2. Green Bay at Lambeau. Tell you what, I think the Cowboys are better than the Packers. 7-2. They probably lose to the Vikings in Minneapolis. That's 7-3. Giants, I believe they're better. The Cowboys, then the Giants. That's 8-3. The Colts could be a tough game. 9-3. The Texans, there's 10-3. The Jags, there's 11-3. They could get into that Christmas Eve night game against the Eagles at their place, 11-3, heading into that game if things fall right for them. It could be 11-3. The Cowboys are going to go on a little run here because you know why? Their schedule's conducive to that. And just like the Eagles, they play the same people just about. So I got the Cowboys at 9. Mainly because of who they have on their schedule coming up. Number 8, I got the Baltimore Ravens. I will say this. I'm concerned with them, and I'm concerned with their secondary. I'm concerned with their defense. I have seen the Ravens play football for a long time, and I've been a big fan of that organization for a long time. And I will tell you, they're not playing very good defensively on that side of the football right now. That nuclear meltdown they had against the Dolphins, I am concerned with Baltimore on their defensive side of the football, more so than I am on their offensive side of the football. Number 7, I have to think. Can I say this to you? Let me ask you a question here. I was asked this question by a sports radio show this morning in Los Angeles. Who are you more concerned with, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? I was asked this question. It was interesting. I was like, well, in most cases, I would say Aaron Rodgers. But now this is different. Brady's got a personal objective or distraction in his life now. So he has a distraction in his life, and it's his personal life that's a distraction. This is something he can't fix. This has got to be what's really frustrating to Tom Brady here. He can't just go out and play his way into this and play his way out of trouble. This is something, and as all of us know, real life, sometimes you just can't play your way out of it. That's why most athletes are eccentric and they don't really have a lot of people around them, because you can't play your way out of personal grief or when you have issues in your life. When you're an athlete and you're not playing well, shit, you got the next game. You can go out there and rectify 3-3, which they are right now. Right? Brady's always under control. You didn't look at this past weekend, screaming and hollering at his offensive line. That did not look to me like a guy in control. But I do have the Bucs, and I'm going to give him the benefit. By the way, I'm not passing on the Packers and the Bucs, which means I'm not ready to give up on Brady and Rodgers yet and turn it over to the young dudes. I'm not ready to do that yet. But I do think that Brady, because of his winning, is going to ride it. I got the Bucs at 7. Number 6. You got to give people credit for what they're doing. You just can't keep ignoring it. And I got to go Giants here. I think the Giants defense is pretty good. The running game is good. Kayvon Thibodeau looks like the guy. Their offensive line is playing better. Wide receiving core is playing better. Daniel Jones, believe it or not, is making some plays. And, they're winning. They're 5-1. Pretty remarkable. I think you got to go Giants sitting there in the 6 hole. Here are your top 5 teams. I got the Chargers, number 5. There's just too much talent on that team. Let me tell you something. If Brandon Staley doesn't get that team to the postseason, he's my first coach fired. Because, okay, dude, Nathaniel Hackett and Brandon Staley are out of their league. I agree, Xander. The guy in Los Angeles with the Chargers is out of his league. There's, dude, Derwin James, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, I know hurt, Mike Williams, Eckler, Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen. Come on, dog. CJ from the Patriots. Come on, dog. You got to get that right, man. There's too many good football players on that team to suck. It's going to fall on you, bro. 4. This win's looking pretty good for the Eagles now. Vikings 5-1. They're going to win the North. They're going to win the North. And you know what? Hey, ever since the Eagles beat up Justin Jefferson, he's found his way again. Starting to put up 153-yard games. Dude, he's averaging over 109 now since that Eagle game. He's the number 1 receiver in the sport. They're making it happen. Minnesota, though, they play tight games, don't they? How do you play a tight game with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook? Okay? You see, the Eagles play close games. But don't they always feel this? When you watch the Eagles play, don't you always do this? Well, they're in control at least. When you're watching Viking games, it's almost like, God, they're winning these close games. Right? It feels different. I watch the Eagles, I'm like, oh, this team's coming back on them. You never hear this. Well, they couldn't hold them off. That's not who they are. It's like this team, I mean, they're always seemingly in control. Here's your top 3 teams. Big Sales Power Rankings. The Philadelphia Eagles, number 3. I think these 3 teams right here, these 3 teams, any one of these 3 teams can win the Super Bowl. Any one of these 3 can win the Super Bowl. I think they played really well. And the most complete offense in football. Wide receivers, the duos are great with the tight end. You couldn't ask for a better group. O-line, you couldn't ask for a better O-line. Get the 4th best running back in the sport. And your quarterback's the 3rd guy in the MVP conversation. Right? I got Kansas City number 2. Kansas City, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. You're going to have to play a great ball game to beat those 2 guys. You're going to have to. Hey, I thought it was interesting that Mike Missanelli took Donovan McNabb over Jalen Hurts. If you had to win one ball game, would you take Donovan McNabb or Jalen Hurts? And Mike Missanelli said, I'd take Donovan. Interesting. The number 1 team in the NFL, I got Buffalo Bills. Bills are really just a great football. That guy is so good, man. He is, without a doubt, an amazing football player. He's an amazing player. So Brady rights the ship and goes into the playoffs playing decent. Who would you rather have? The Eagles. I think the Eagles can beat that team. I think the quarterback, I believe it or not, Brady's just not playing well. But dude, it's a 60-minute game. He's going to find a way to win it. Shakur says, I'd take McNabb too. So wait a minute here. Who would you take? If you had to win a 60-minute ball game, would you take McNabb or would you take Hurts? I asked Mike Missanelli this. Donovan couldn't win the big one. Well, could he win the big one with this group? Yes, I would too, because McNabb did it with lesser. Donovan McNabb, Hurts, Jalen all day, Hurts. McNabb is trash. McNabb is a turkey burger. I have no idea what that is. Yes, McNabb. Jimmy G's been to the Super Bowl twice, one as a starter. Maybe he doesn't throw up. Wow. McNabb is the dude. McNabb's a bad leader. Who would I take? Who would okay. Mike said he'd take McNabb. I could never take Donovan McNabb. I could never take that guy as my starting quarterback. I never felt it when he played, and I never thought he was a champion quarterback. I never did. I never thought he was a champion quarterback. Just something about the guy. Every day, twice on Sunday. I could not take that guy, man. There's just something about him. Yeah, all right. Hey, let's take a time out here. I want to run through the standings, okay? I want to run through the standings here. So let's do that if we can. Look, I thought it was a really interesting comment that Mike made, okay? I really did. All right, we're going to take a look at the league. Keep it here on the National Football Show.